Hi guys, so this video will be fun. The other day I had Instagram that I made yogurt for the first time, and everyone's like, recipe, or show me a tutorial. It is so easy. I mean, ridiculous easy. And there's lots of videos out there. They all pretty much talk about the same proportions, which is like 4 cups of milk and then maybe 3 tablespoons of yogurt or starter, which you don't have to spend money on a starter. I just use yogurt. I've even seen videos where people take some chilies from like their garden and then put it in with some milk, because I guess whatever little, I don't want to say bacteria, but this is literally what it is, or maybe whatever it is that's on there, maybe yeast, and it turns your milk, and then you use that to start and then keep going from there. So obviously there's lots of recipes out there, but I think we all have yogurt. So the first time I ever did it, I want to show you. And then everyone says you have to use whole milk. I don't ever buy whole milk. I've never bought whole milk my whole adult life. I don't believe in it. It's so creamy. I'm just used to 2%, right? And then whenever I had, even for my kids, whenever I had my kids, they were all over 9-pound babies. By the time they're a year old, they're like twice or 3 times that. And my doctors or the pediatricians would always say just to use basically skim milk, and since I don't believe in torture, I'm like, no, we'll do 2% at least. So I would do 2% milk. So that's what I always buy. So I always get 2%. And really, 2% is a misnomer, because it really only has like so much less fat than whole milk. But if you read it, 38% less fat than whole milk. This doesn't mean it's actually just only 2% of fat, right? So that's what I'm using. This one says that it's grade A pasteurized homogenized. Okay, great. I say try whatever you like. I use that and it came out perfectly. I'll show you the yogurt that I have, and we're running low, so I'm gonna do another batch. So I'll probably use some yogurt from this. Let me get a spoon so you can see kind of the consistency. I didn't strain it, I didn't make it like Greek style or anything like that. So it's just, I want to say it's more like a Yoplait thickness, maybe. If you want to strain it, you can strain it in cheesecloth for a little while, get some of that liquid out, but I would say it's more Yoplait. It's a little tangy, and that depends on how long you let it sitting out. So this is going to be super easy. You just need milk. If you don't already have yogurt, obviously, that you've used, this is what I started mine with, Fage, because Fage is a good yogurt that I always buy anyway, and they're not inexpensive. So I was just kind of reading, you want it to have, and it's 2% milk fat anyway. You want it to have, right in here, your live active yogurt cultures. Now, Yoplait and all those, I mean, pretty much most yogurts do. Read it and make sure. And I just figured this one's good because this is good stuff. It's tangy. It's exactly what I like. So I started with this, and I only grabbed 3 tablespoons from this side that doesn't have any flavor in it. You can just use a plain yogurt. Got 3 tablespoons from that, and I just added it in. So it's very easy. What we're going to do is boil our milk to come up to 200 degrees. And then we're going to let it come down to about 110. And then just put it in a receptacle. I guess you could leave it in the same vessel it's in, and then put it in a warm spot. And I just put it in my oven with the light on. So that's literally all you need. We're gonna need 4 cups of milk. Hate that yogurt. And then 3 tablespoons of yogurt starter, yogurt, if you from the store, however you want to use that. And then some thyme. So let me measure out 4 cups of milk. I'll be right back. Okay, and what I hope to do is also talk to you guys about how long it takes to get to 200 degrees, because people have questions about that. Some people just say when it starts bubbling, like boiling a little bit, just turn it off and you're good. Because basically what you're doing right now is trying to, I assume, just kill whatever might be in your milk, if there's anything that's, going to keep the yogurt cultures from doing their thing, but also to bust up the protein so that your yogurt culture will help make new bonds, and it just amazes me how quickly it gets thick and awesome. The one I showed you now, I left alone for 5 hours. I think this time I'll leave it alone for like 6.5, just to get it a little tangier. It'll keep getting tangy in the fridge either way. So you're gonna want a heavy pot. Pretty much everyone uses something like this cast iron type thing. But if you're gonna use a regular saucepan, you really have to watch it, because obviously you don't want it to burn. You want something heavy bottomed or however. So I have the 4 cups of milk. And literally, I'm just going to put it on like medium high, because I am not the most careful or patient person. I don't want it to burn. I don't want it to scorch. But also, I'm not trying to wait all day for it to get to 200 degrees. So I'm going to put this up. So I'm going to put this on medium high. I'm assuming every stove is different. This one has really high BTUs, so it burns a little hotter. I can see already there's something in here I want to take out. Something got in there. and we're just gonna wait. And the first batch I did, like I said, I got a little impatient. So I'm gonna be in here kind of moving this around, making sure the milk doesn't stick on the base at the very bottom, right? You do not want that. I'm not trying to whip it or whisk it and get a bunch more bubbles. We just want it to come to temperature to 200 degrees. I think the other day when I did it, it took maybe, you know, I don't want to guess because I think it took like 15 minutes, maybe 20, but maybe less. I don't really quite remember. It doesn't take very long. So just keep an eye on it and keep, you know, moving it, keep from the bottom from sticking. And again, not too high, but not too low because you don't want to be here all day either. So I am going to take the temperature of it. I just have a thermometer here. But again, some people, their trick is as soon as it gets hot enough that it starts boiling, like bubbling around the edges, kind of bubbling a little more, then you're pretty good. Other people say test it on your hand, and if it's like so hot that you can't stand it, then you're good. You're just trying to get the milk ready. And then we're going to just kind of move it around until it cools off to 110 degrees. You can put it in an ice bath. I didn't care to do that. I didn't want to waste water or ice. And, you know, live in California, I'm like, I guess I could dump it in a plant or something. But I'm going to just let it cool down. You know, I don't have anything but time. So I will keep an eye of the time, like again, so I can tell you guys about how long this takes, okay? So that's 4 cups of milk. 2% milk is what I'm using. You want to use vitamin D? It'll probably be creamier. I don't know. But the 2% was perfect for me, so I'm happy with it. Again, I'll just keep doing this so it doesn't stick and it doesn't scorch. And I'll be back. Okay, it's only been 3 minutes. I just want to show you how quickly it gets hot. So in most videos I had seen in the past, I'm like, it seems like it takes a long time. It's because, you know, you want to be patient. You're making sure it doesn't stick on the bottom. But like, it's already at 138, let's say 140, and it's only been 3 minutes. So it does not take a long time, but I'll check in with you in just a little bit longer. Okay, it's been about 7 minutes. It's starting to make those little tiny foam bubbles on top, so I'm gonna I was gonna say test it, check, and I said tech. All right, let's test it again. Turn this guy on. And I'm not touching the bottom of the pan, obviously, with the thermometer. I'm keeping it kind of up in the milk a little bit high. 194, 197, 198. I think we're good. Okay, I'm going to turn it off. As you can see, it's not quite bubbling, but it's making those little tiny, tiny bubbles. And that is what we're looking for, right? You don't want it boiling lava hot. It doesn't have to be. I know there's a certain kind of milk that you don't have to cook to the 200 degrees. In that case, you would just get it to 110. And I know you can do this in the one pot, and you can do this, you know, in a bread maker and a little yogurt maker, and that's great. But this is just a quick and easy thing that you can do. And if you're into it, you know, then invest in these other things is what I would do. So I turned it off. What I'm going to do is just put it to the side and, you know, check it in a few minutes. And, you know, you can keep doing this if you really want it to cool off a little bit faster. And if you want to cool off really fast, again, ice in a bowl, and then take your whole thing and place it in there, right? So it's getting colder from the outside. But I just wait. So I will be right back. Oh, it only took 7 minutes. Okay, just want to show you that. I moved it from where it was hot because that heat that's in your oven or your stove, you know, that's going to stay there. So I'm just going to let it cool down. And we need to cool down to about 110. Actually, it needs to be 115, 110, around there. I think last time when I put my yogurt in, it was probably like at 112, which was close enough. You don't want it to be too hot because it'll kill your cultures, and you don't want that, right? You want to make yogurt, not some weak, I don't know what it would be. So you can do this. I see the steam and the heat's escaping. In the meantime, you want to, if you're going to use your, let's say, oven, and like today is kind of a chilly day. Actually, it's in the 80s because we live in San Diego, but it's cold in the house because the sun isn't as hot like in the summertime. So I'm going to put the oven light on and just my empty oven, and that'll be enough to keep this warm. And I did check it that last time around. You know, it was like at 90 something degrees, the milk, and it wasn't, but the longer the oven light's on, the hotter it gets in there. And I do have a proofing setting, but I think proofing is a little bit too high for this. So I just leave the oven light, and then I wrap it with some little towels. But we'll talk about that when we get there. But for right now, I'm going to turn the oven light on just to start warming up that oven. But again, if you have a warm spot in your house, that might work. Okay, I'll be right back. So it's only been like 2 minutes, and it already lost 40 degrees of heat. So, you know, it cools down pretty quick. especially because we didn't bring it to boiling, so it doesn't take too long. But again, just letting that heat escape if you want to help it out. If you just let it sit, it is going to form a skin, and that's not a big deal. You can either just take it off and throw it away, or you can just mix it back in. It doesn't matter. I left the skin on the last time I did this, and it made no difference. So, all right, I will be back when we're closer to 110. So it's been about 15 minutes. I haven't constantly been stirring it. I did dishes and did other things, but that's why it's kind of a very easy, fun thing to do. So let me turn this on. I still think it's a little bit warm because I still see steam kind of escaping, but 120, let's say 130 because this keeps climbing. It's been, like I said, about 15 minutes, 16 minutes, so probably just a couple more minutes and I'll be right back. Okay, well, I'm waiting for those last little degrees to come down. I'm going to get 3 tablespoons of yogurt into just this little receptacle because what we're going to do is temper it a little bit with some of the milk, the warm milk, and then add it into the rest of the milk. So, if you're doing it brand new, like I said, just take 3 tablespoons of whatever yogurt you're using that has the live active cultures. I'm going to use some of the yogurt that I had previously made and keep it going, see what happens. So I'm just going to get 3 tablespoons of that. And of course I was going to throw it into the milk right now for some reason. I was like ready to throw it in. So just 1, 2, 3, 3.5, however, you know, it's not super technical, you guys. I think some people think it might be, but you know me, it's good enough, it's good enough. So I'm going to put those 3 tablespoons there and just leave it sitting on the side here until I'm ready to get it all blended together. Okay, so we're approaching about 23 minutes of just cooling time, but again, like I said, I wasn't really guarding it or checking it out. I just kind of left it on its own. I kind of would come by and swish it around a little bit, so that's not too bad, but I think we're getting close because I don't see any more steam escaping as I'm moving the milk there. Let's see. It's going very slowly to 110. 113, 114, we're good. Between 110 and 115, closer to 110 would be better, but I think we'll be okay. So I'm just going to get a little bit of the milk. I just realized I use the world's smallest bowl. But I'm just going to take a little bit of the milk just to get in here and just get this a little bit softer. Now this was a little trickier with the Faye because it was thick. So, you know, you really want to go through that. But, oh, I just saw a little something in here. There we go. So I'm going to mix real well until this is very incorporated. Just for a couple minutes. I had seen a video with an elderly man that he says you have to do this for 3 minutes. That's the trick. So I'm going to keep mixing it for a little while and I'll be right back. Okay, so that might have been 2 minutes, but that's okay. So now we're just going to get this really mixed in here. Oh, see? 3 minutes, and that would have had less lumps right there. So we're going to get this in here. I'm going to use my plastic spatula again. If you're using anything metal, make sure it's non-reactive and all that. So I suppose you could put this same vessel you have here, just cover it and put it in your warm spot in the warmer area there. But I'm going to put it in a Pyrex glass, this one that holds 4 cups. And, you know, my husband had just asked me, he says, does it evaporate? And the thing is, you're cooking it so slowly and heating it up, or at least you should. It hardly evaporates. Like when I pour this back in there, it'll be pretty much the 4 cups still. So you pretty much get 4 cups of yogurt from your 4 cups of milk. But I'm going to keep mixing this, just make sure it's all in there. And the temperature is going to keep dropping. Even right now, I checked it and it was at like barely slowly getting to 110. It's more like 109. So, you know, just know that. So I'm going to mix this thoroughly and then I'm going to pour it into, again, this Pyrex. And when I come back, we're going to put it into the oven with the light on. Okay, sorry about the weird angle. This is as high as my tripod will go without me just holding the camera. So I poured it in there. I just put a little, you know, saran wrap over it just so nothing gets in there. And that's what I was trying to point out to you guys. It's literally almost like, what is this? Not even a 1/4 cup gone. So you don't really lose that much in the process. And then I cover it mostly because the lights are on, you know, let it do its thing, but also it kind of keeps it warm a little bit. And close it up and leave it alone for at least 5 hours. The longer you leave it, the tangier it's going to be, but at the same time, it'll still keep getting tangy while it's in your fridge. So again, we made this just a few days ago and we pretty much ate it all. So I mean, it's not really going to last that long to get super tangy. But if you are going to go in the longer hours, like 7, 8, 9, 10. A lot of times people like to do this at nighttime and then put it in the oven and go to sleep. It's going to be really tangy. So I will come back in 6 hours because that's what I said I wanted to do for this one, but usually 5 hours is about right, but I'll be back. Oh, real quick, while I poured it into the Pyrex. You don't have to put it in a Pyrex. You can put it into whatever jars you're going to use. You're going to use mason jars or just a larger receptacle like the first one I showed you that I had my yogurt in. Something, airtight. You can put it in there now. You don't have to put it in this, because after I put it in this Pyrex, I'm going to then transfer it to another receptacle for storage, but you can go right into those receptacles. You don't have to do this and that. Like I said, you can even leave it in the thing that you cooked it in, right? So it's up to you. I just wanted to come back and make mention of that because it's a good place to do it. If you're going to transfer from your pot to something else, you might as well transfer it to the receptacle that you will be serving out of, All right, we'll be back, patient, in a few hours. The first time I kept checking it because, that's me. And I would open the door like every hour or two. Really, it didn't firm up until like hour 4. And then after that, I just left it to, just to get a little more sour, tangy, whatever it is that you're wanting to name that. But again, today I'm not going to even check until the 6 hours because that's basically what I know I want. Yeah, I want to quickly show you. I think I put this in at basically 2:30. It was just before that. So it's been 3.5 hours. And let me show you this. So if I check it out, it's nice and warm in here. It feels still pretty warm, but let me see if I can close up with my camera. If I give it a little jiggle, you see that? Nothing, it's not moving. That's so good. So cool. I mean, this actually gelled up a little faster. Well, it's not really gelling, but I'm doing it, saying it's doing its thing faster this time around. But that's okay. So again, it gets tangier as it goes along. So, 3.5 hours is pretty short amount of time. So I'm going to let it go, like I said, but I just want to show you that it's working. It does its thing. Pretty cool. Okay, so we are approaching 6 hours, and since it was already firming up kind of quickly, I'm going to check it really quick. And it feels very warm in here. It's still a little liquid in the center. The outside edge. That probably doesn't matter because last time I had a lot of liquid on top and it was still fine. But let me... Ooh, sorry. I moved the tripod and I didn't think to grab it again. Oh yeah, look at that. Cool. And you can give it a little taste. I'm not going to dip this back in there. It's warm. Oh, it's so tangy and good. Okay, I'm going to bring it out so we can get a better look. Okay, so I have it here on my counter. I'm curious to see the heat, how hot this is. Just to try it out, so... It's going up, up, up. 110, 111, 112. You want it to be between 110 and 115, so that's pretty good just with the light on. And it's slowing down around 113, so that's pretty much perfect. So again, we could have put this in our little jars and now just put it in the fridge. But since I put it in this thing, I could put this in the fridge, but I'm going to put it in a different container. But I just want to show you. Look at that. Isn't that crazy? It just trips me out. Because like, how? I mean, I know how scientifically I suppose, but it still looks like magic. It feels cool. And when you eat it, when you taste it at this temperature, obviously it's very warm. But you can see if it's not tangy enough yet, if you don't like, put it in for another hour, 2 hours, depending on how tangy. It's pretty tangy right now, and it was legit in 10 minutes, it'll be 6 hours. So super easy, you guys. What I'm gonna do is just scoop this out. You can give it a mix, just eat it like this, however you like. I'm gonna put it in the fridge, obviously, to chill. It'll get a little thicker, and it'll continue doing its thing, but at a slower pace. My husband laughs because I love fermented type things. They're like, I make my own kimchi, kombucha, jun, all those things. I left the kombucha and the jun. Stopped doing that a little while ago because it was making so much weekly. But look at that. It's just like any other yogurt. When you get it, it has that little stuff, little yellow liquid or little liquid, and you mix it back in now, which is basically whey, I suppose. So if you want to make this into more of a Greek style yogurt, like to me this is fine. Obviously you can give it a mix and it gets a little creamier. You're going to want to strain it through some cheesecloth for a little while, or a chinois with cheesecloth, or just a chinois, however you want to do it. Just, get as much of the liquid out. It's going to take a while. Just dripping, dripping, dripping out. And then when you're ready to go, you can put it away. But I like it like this. It was pretty good. I might venture into using some cheesecloth at some point, but for now, super easy, you guys. So 4 cups of milk. Like I said, I use 2%. 3 tablespoons of, you know, bring it up to 200, then let it go back down to 110. I can't remember the type of milk that you don't have to heat to 200. I'll have it again, hopefully back in where I mentioned it first or here. You just have to warm it to 110. Add your 3 tablespoons of yogurt that you kind of tempered a little bit, and then just set it aside for a few hours until you're happy. So thanks for watching, guys. I think that's everything. If you have any questions, leave them in the description box. You know, this is just a fun thing for me to do. It's not, I'm not looking for perfection or whatever. It's good. It's good to go. I'm happy. So again, there is no sugar in this other than, you know, what the milk has already. So I just usually use a little granola, a little honey, and then any kind of fruit, bananas. Today my son used a little thing of pineapple. We had a little container of pineapple. Just drained it and used the pineapple. Whatever it is that you want to eat it, however you want to eat it, and your drinks, you know, it's good to go. You know me, I can't just say goodbye. This has chilled overnight. Since I haven't edited this video, I figured might as well show it to you guys. So it's been chilling for about almost 12 hours. And again, it'll still get more and more tangy, but look at this. Oh, I don't know if you can see that. It's nice and thick for a 2% milk. And whenever I serve it, I can just do that, or I mix it up again just to get some of that whey in there. But I don't know. So good, you guys. All right, I'll talk to you, or I'll see you guys at the next one. Bye now.